Why people don't make it living abroad. There are two types of people. Those who like structure, they like to have things in order, rules, and then there are those who like ambiguity. They like flexibility. They like to keep things open and so forth. So in my observation, what happens is people place themselves in the wrong environment and they become like a fish out of water. So let's take a look at that here, all right? So when I'm talking about group number one, these are people who like rules. And let me be perfectly clear. There is not a wrong or a right. It just is. There's just the differences. And I also want you to know that some of this comes to me after talking with lots of people from different areas. There's people I've talked to, it popped into my head, is talking to a great couple from the UK recently, and talked to people who are from the States, from Las Vegas, Eritrea, Panama, and also interacting in different countries. And so these are my observations. So I was about to say, you got group number one, which I think I fit more into myself, as a matter of fact. And those are individuals who tend to like, they like rules and order. So they like a country who has things very well laid out on their website, very well descriptive in terms of rules and regulations once you leave their website and think about what is the process or procedure for this or that. They're very organized. And I think what happens is it gives us a sense of order, safety, stability, comfort. It's more predictable. It's a predictable social structure. In my mind or in others' minds, it might say, okay, I'm going to have less chaos because I have everything laid out like this. And so it gives me that sense of security. And so, that doesn't make it right, okay? And when I say security, I'm not talking about whether it's an assault or things like that. No. I just mean like dependable, meaning you can count on this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. The same, well, basically the same old kind of a thing. Okay, so let me give you examples of what I'm talking about here. So let's see here. In Rwanda. So we lived there for a little less than a year. And one of the things that I really appreciate about Rwanda, and I don't know if people observed me, I will probably say one of the things I liked is the order. In other words, I was able to get from the United States now, able to get a 10-year visa online and using FedEx and get my passport with the sheet placed in my passport and my family's before we left Los Angeles. And it was just laid out. It was WYSIWYG, if you remember that. I know that's an old, probably IT term, data processing term. It means what you see is what you get. It had to do with what we're processing. In other words, it's what's presented to you, that's exactly what it is. And so it was WYSIWYG, and we were able to get those kinds of things accomplished. That's on their website when we were living there. They have a business development, a whole department for that. There's a building we would pass quite often. And we have friends who have worked who are from the States, expats, who have worked with the folks there to get their businesses started. So it's very, very organized in that sense. I was talking to a gentleman from the UK the other day, and I was mentioning this to him because it came off like a light bulb to me. He was saying, yeah, Mark, I think I'm like you. It's like you look for this order because it enables you to thrive in it. Versus, a commenter. A lady talking to us who's also, I think, requested some of our offers As a matter of fact, if you're interested in moving abroad and you're serious about it, more so than just talking about it, and you want to take action, go ahead and send us an email or access our Stand Store link down below. I think this individual, she's purchased a book or looking at some of the things that we have to offer. But anyway, she was talking about Panama, which was on her list coming from the United States. And she felt that they had a Unitarian style of government. So I was kind of looking that up, and so it wasn't exactly what she was looking for, and she's reevaluating what she may consider. I mean, she still could go there, but just something to think about. But I'm just trying to give you examples of the rules and what might make that type of person, that demeanor, feel comfortable. I remember working in downtown Washington, D.C., and I actually was, this was a new thing to me. I'm actually from Illinois. And so I would look out the window at my desk, and I'd see individuals lined up, very orderly, and the cars would pull up like a taxi, but they're not taxis. And the person who is in the line would go up to the car, lean in, say a few words, I guess, and then perhaps get in the backseat passenger side with their briefcase and so forth. Oh, I'm sorry, this is taking place like about 3 o'clock they start doing this. They start lining up 3 o'clock, 3:30 for the commute home in the DMV, which is Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. So I'm in downtown D.C. and I'm seeing this line. And I was like, what's going on? Or I'd hear one of my bosses, when I worked at Justice, she would say, yeah, I'm going to ride she lived in Virginia. I'm going to ride the slug home. And she kept saying that. I didn't know what she was talking about. And there's slug lines. And I was just so amazed, because here's this innovative thing that came about that people had just constructed themselves, where you literally are getting in the vehicle with a stranger. You're not using Uber or any of the other apps. You're just standing there, and they know where you're going to be standing, because there's I'm talking 15, 20, 25 people, and you get a ride home. It's a win-win, because you have the HOV, high occupancy vehicle lanes, and therefore the driver gets to use the HOV lane because there's someone else in the car with them. So they get to go fast or more efficiently through the traffic as they cross over the Potomac and all that kind of stuff. And the individual who's in the backseat, they know they're going to get dropped off pretty much near a parking lot or something where they can get out of the car and go get in their own car and go on home, or whatever, ride a bus the rest of the way. And so, but that was just the order that took place, and I was just amazed that happened. My son and I we did father and son trips before they were in their 20s, and one of the places one of them picked was Japan. So this has to do with being in order. They're very orderly folks, culture in Japan. And one of the things I noticed was that the school children, they must have their hair a certain length, a certain shade, depending on what school, if you want to go to the better schools. And I'm talking about children who are 15 years old and below, okay? Like 11 years old, 10, 9, 8, like that. They queue up, they're all dressed alike, and I respect that. I can see the order, okay? And when we rode the metro, the subway in Japan, very orderly, to the minute, to the second almost, when that subway is going to arrive. And yes, they do have people with white gloves who are going to push you in because it's very crowded. But also, you may not talk on the subway, whereas in DC, oh my goodness, it's something else. Whereas they literally have trains specifically for women. And also, you really are not encouraged to speak on your cell phone. But this just has to do with order and so forth. One of my observations is that that order might make me feel secure. It might make things predictable for me, less figuring out I have to do, but it also seems to lend itself to more of a transactional type relationship. And so think about that and think about yourself. Spend time knowing who you are and what makes you feel comfortable. let's take a look at the second type of person who may like a lot of flexibility, a lot of ambiguity. And what I mean by that is that this person might, these are my words, they might say that life is carved in a bowl of jello. In other words, it's shaking, it's moving, and so I'm going to flow with it. I'm like water. I'm just flowing with this. I like it that I can negotiate things. I don't need to see the prices of everything all stamped out on things, because I'm going to negotiate a better price, and I love that. And I get a sense of accomplishment when I can get a better deal than some of the other shoppers. That person is probably one who might think outside the 9 dots. Some people call it thinking outside the box. It's really not a box there, it's just 9 dots. And so they like to solve things differently, and they like the opportunities to be able to do that more and more and more. Why? Because it lends itself to them. This person is probably going to be more comfortable with change. And they may walk around with a mentality, they don't say this, but it's who says it has to be that way or the same way all the time, any kind of way. So that's your second type of person I'm talking about now. And and just as a reminder, like I said, if you're serious about moving abroad and you're so serious it's beyond just talk and you're ready to take action, go ahead and contact us at AwakenWithMark@gmail.com, or just reach out to us and choose one of our offerings in our Stand Store link, which is down below. So, all right, so let's talk more about the person who's more flexible. I'm thinking of when we were in Uganda. So we went over there, right, and spent some time with some friends of ours from the States. We all went over there, like chartered a bus and all this kind of stuff. It was a blast. And one of the things I noticed was versus Rwanda, they were how do I put it? They were more likely to be doing things at 2 a.m. in the morning. You can get some chapatis late at night. They're gonna be hot. They're gonna be nice. Some chapatis gonna be popping. Oh, these are like large pancakes, but they're not. They're very thin. The thickness would be more like a crepe, but they're fried on a griddle kind of a thing. We might roll them up and put something in them like a tortilla kind of a thing. Very tasty, and you can do whatever you want with those, but you can probably get those at 2 a.m. They probably might be starting the party later in Uganda. It's more of a whatever kind of a thing. I've been to Hawaii and been there a couple times, and one of the things they'll say there is hang loose, and what they mean is relax. I find that true of a lot of islands, actually. I know islands are different, whether it's St. Kitts, Bahamas, Zanzibar, or Hawaii. They're different, but island life is different, okay? It's more laid back and so forth. It's more flexible. There's less things that are laid out, perhaps. It depends on the island. Let me give you an example. Puerto Rico. So I was working for a federal agency, and they were looking at disaster relief for Puerto Rico, and they were dealing with some of the challenges that were present with aiding folks in Puerto Rico. And one of the challenges they had to face back then was that there really weren't clear addresses in the buildings. And I think that's because partially, and I've seen that in countries that I've now lived in, is that all this structure and laid out square cities and all this stuff is not their way of thinking. It's just where you're going to talk to somebody. And in fact, to get a lot of places, you're going to have to ask someone. And that's what I mean by relational. You're going to need to talk to someone, and sure, they're going to know her, they don't know her. They may even walk with you and take you there or something like that. Here's one for you. In Los Angeles, when I was taking the subway, and I may have been on the stairs or the escalator. And so I'm used to riding in Washington, D.C. Metro. And so then I'm in Los Angeles riding the Metro. And in terms of fluidness, I mean, I'm going up the stairs in downtown LA, and there's this this massive wave of people coming at me, and there's many more, 10 times more coming down than going up. And they just all kind of come at you at once like a school of fish. And I had grown accustomed to the order of Washington, D.C., which is on the escalator, you stand to the right and you walk to the left. Or if you're going up stairs, not an escalator, you walk on the right side, and the others are coming down on the other side. Well, that's not how they approach things. And that doesn't make it wrong, though, but it just shows that kind of environment. And one thing that I want to mention is these are the little things. You say, man, is this really important? These are the little things, and trust me, it's the little things that are going to make or break you. When I was in high school, I was blessed to be able to play football 4 years. I was not a superstar, but I was able to letter 2 years, as a matter of fact. And I didn't drop a ball as a senior. Didn't get that many thrown, but I was a wide receiver, right? And one of the early things I was taught as a freshman is when the football, I'm talking about a wide receiver playing football, when the football is above your chest pads, you will cross your thumbs. And you get used to doing this to catch the ball. When the ball is below your chest pads, you will cross your little fingers like so, and you can catch the ball where it is. And you catch the ball with your hands, not with your arms. So next time you watch NFL, kind of track that when you watch drop balls. But the deal is, it's the little things. The little things will make or break you. And that was really drilled into me on that hot 2-a-days field, which has no grass on it, in the heart of central Illinois. I was beat up anyway. So that's why this is important. This is why people don't make it, because they have failed to know who they are, and they have failed to realize that the little things make a difference. All right, so I'm going to ask you to do this. I want you to place a 1 down in the comments if you like well-established rules. You see yourself liking that from just the point of view of a country or whatever. And place a 2 in the comments if you prefer to keep things flexible. And that's it. That's the main reason what breaks people and why they don't stay living where they are. Thank you.